What to feed a chinchilla at home? Exotic rodent chinchilla is a popular pet with a pretty appearance and excellent health. With proper nutrition and care, a chinchilla can live up to 20 years. It is very important to choose the right diet for your pet. Poor quality feeding disrupts the reproductive and digestive system and can cause premature death of the rodent. In the article we will consider the nutrition of chinchillas at home, what can and cannot be given to the animal, the peculiarity of the diet, and what food is better to choose. What chinchillas eat in nature. In natural habitats, chinchillas feed on various grasses, roots, mosses, twigs of shrubs and stunted trees. The main part of the diet is dried feed. In mountain herbs growing in an area where exotic rodents usually live, contain all the necessary nutrients necessary for the healthy work of the body. Rules for feeding domestic chinchillas. Chinchilla is a herbivorous rodent that eats food in small quantities, but quite often. Basic feeding rules. In the pet feeder there should always be a supply of useful food. New foods are introduced into the diet with caution. Balanced and varied menu. Chinchillas are very active, so they need high-calorie food, which also maintains a healthy state of beautiful rodent fur. Meals and daily routine. Chinchillas are nocturnal. Activity is manifested closer to 18 to 20 p.m. The owner should make sure that there is enough food in the pet's feeder to eat at night. It is better to feed the rodent at the same time. He will quickly get used to the regime, which will have a positive effect on the digestive process. Chinchillas have sharp teeth that grow all their lives. In order for the pet to be able to grind its teeth if necessary, you need to put tree branches in the cage, with the exception of coniferous species with a high resin content. Apple, linden, birch and hazel are preferred. In addition to wooden twigs, special toys, mineral and chalk stones are also used. Composition and balance of the diet. The diet for a domestic rodent is selected individually, taking into account the age of the pet, its state of health, taste preferences and physiological characteristics of the body. The main composition of the diet for domestic chinchillas. Roughage hay, branches of trees and shrubs. Grain mixtures for chinchillas. Delicacies, berries and nuts, dried fruits, vegetables. The daily rate of feed for an adult pet is 55 to 65 g. A balanced diet involves feeding in this ratio: 25 g roughage, 25 g grain mixture, up to 5 g of vegetables, and the same number of additional delicacies. How to feed. The first feeding takes place no earlier than 18 p.m. The owner can pour grain feed into the feeder. It is not necessary to calculate the portion. Chinchillas are not prone to gluttony and obesity, so they will eat exactly as much as their body needs. In the cage should always be fresh and clean hay. The bundle can be placed in a certain corner or in a special feeder for hay. Make sure that the chinchilla is never left without this tasty and healthy food. Drinking regime. In the free access of the rodent should always be clean drinking water. It is better to use distilled or filtered water. You cannot water chinchillas with ordinary tap water. You can also drink chinchillas with a decoction of chamomile, rose hips, currants without added sugar. List of healthy foods for chinchilla nutrition. When compiling a menu for a domestic rodent, it is necessary to take into account the daily need of the body for proteins, carbohydrates and fats. Percentage of useful components. Proteins, up to 20%. This component is responsible for cell regeneration and elasticity of fur. Lactating and pregnant rodents should be given protein food in increased quantities, as it is responsible for the process of formation of the organs of the cubs and the production of milk. Carbohydrates up to 30 to 35% of daily feed. Normalize the digestive system, contribute to the removal of toxins from the body. Fats, 4 to 5%. Contribute to proper development, improve the condition of fur, are an important source of energy for rodents. The body of chinchillas also needs magnesium, stimulating the protective reactions of the body. Potassium normalizes the water-salt balance. Folic acid improves bowel function. Iron contributes to the proper transport of oxygen to the tissues. In the diet of an exotic pet should be present useful and high-quality products. What to feed chinchillas? Fresh hay. Branches of trees: pear, apple, sea buckthorn, birch, willow, etc. Dried herbs: parsley, spinach, burdock, plantain, clover, lettuce, dandelion grass, etc. Leaves of trees. Grain mixtures: wheat, corn, buckwheat, oatmeal, barley. Legumes: peas, beans. Pieces of dried vegetables: carrots, zucchini, tomatoes, sweet peppers. Dried fruits: apples, pears, grapes, bananas, apricots, figs. Dried berries: blueberries, strawberries, rose hips. Nuts: walnuts, hazelnuts, peanuts. In the diet of pregnant and lactating chinchillas must be products of dairy origin: milk, kefir, natural yogurt, cottage cheese, yogurt. What not to give chinchillas? Chinchillas cannot be fed products from their table, as well as various feeds not intended for these animals. There is also a list of products prohibited for feeding exotic rodents. What not to give chinchillas? From cereals: rye. Juicy herbs, vegetables and fruits, because chinchillas can have a digestive disorder. Leaves of lily of the valley, buttercup, milkweed, field mustard, dope, kalesnitsa, fern, poisonous buttercup, liveliness and hemlock. These herbs are poisonous. Branches: coniferous trees, chestnut, maple, cypress, white acacia, elderberry, plum, apricot, cherry. From fruits: citrus, persimmon. From vegetables: potatoes and fresh cabbage. Pine nuts and almonds. Apricot seeds. Offal. Meat: bones. Any sweets, including dried fruits, honey. Hard cheese. Sausage and smoked meats. Products of unnatural origin. Types of feed. Chinchilla can be fed different feeds. Some of them are mandatory and make up the bulk of the daily diet. Roughage. Roughage includes hay and tree branches. In these animals, the digestive system is arranged so that in the absence of hay, they can suddenly die. You can buy the finished product in the store. It is better to give preference to hay, which consists of herbs: timothypka, dandelion, clover, vetch, etc. Also, hay is necessary for grinding the back teeth premalures. Some owners harvest hay on their own, but in this case you need to be extremely careful. Pathogenic microorganisms, dangerous fungi and mold can multiply in the harvested pile. Such a product is unacceptable to give to a domestic rodent. This can cause severe poisoning up to death. To destroy pathogenic microorganisms that may be present in the hay, it is necessary to use special means from veterinary pharmacies. After processing with this composition, all dangerous elements are neutralized. In addition to hay, in the diet of a domestic chinchilla should always be branches of shrubs and trees. With their help, the pet regularly grinds the teeth, incisors. Herbs and plants. Herbs and plants are useful fertilizing of plant origin, which must be given to the pet in limited quantities. The daily rate is up to 5 to 10 g. Ready-made mixtures. In the store you can buy ready-made mixtures for feeding homemade chinchillas. The composition of high-quality food has all the necessary vitamins and mineral complexes necessary for the healthy growth and development of the pet. The composition of the finished mixtures includes different components: cereals, seeds, bran, etc. Crops. Grain mixtures are an important part of the daily diet of domestic chinchillas. The composition of this product has all the necessary vitamins, minerals, proteins, fats and other useful trace elements. It is not desirable to feed the pet one type of grain. Priority feeding with a mixture of different grains. Fruits and vegetables. Juicy feed includes fresh vegetables and fruits. These products are a real storehouse of useful vitamins and minerals. They are served to the pet as a treat in small pieces. Fruits and vegetables can be given to chinchillas only in dried form. After feeding a new product, the owner needs to check the condition of the rodent. If there are symptoms of intestinal disorders, this product is better to exclude from the diet. Chinchilla cannot be fed spoiled, rotten, stale and unripe fruits and vegetables. Such feeding will lead to diseases and death of the pet. Vitamins and delicacies. The main part of the vitamins the animal should receive from everyday food. During the cold weather, additional vitamin dressings should be introduced into the diet. You can buy them in the store. You can diversify the menu of the rodent with various delicacies: berries, nuts, fresh and dried fruits. Such products are better to alternate and be sure to dose. Each complementary food is given in a strictly limited portion. Overeating treats can cause serious harm to health. Features of chinchilla nutrition in different periods of life. When compiling a diet for a home chinchilla, it is necessary to take into account the physiological characteristics of the body characteristic of different periods of the rodent's life. Pregnancy. Pregnant chinchilla requires special care and proper nutrition. The diet should be varied and balanced. In the female during this period, appetite improves, so the daily rate of feed should be increased. In the feeder should always be a supply of fresh and healthy food. Additionally, you can include in the main menu vitamin supplements intended for pregnant rodents. Barley and sprouted oats are very useful for expectant mothers. They contain in their composition a large amount of vitamin E, necessary for the proper development of the fetus. With its deficiency, pregnancy can be interrupted. 2 to 3 weeks before birth, the chinchilla should be fed with pieces of dried apples. After the birth of rodents, calendula, alfalfa and strawberry herbs are introduced into the diet of a nursing mother. These herbs improve lactation. Growth period. For small rodents, the basis of the diet is nutritious concentrated feeds with a low content of fat and sugar. You can feed a growing pet with ready-made granular feeds from leading manufacturers. They contain a balanced amount of nutrients, vitamins, minerals, carbohydrates, proteins, fats and other components selected taking into account the physiological characteristics of the young organism. Illness. For various reasons, the chinchilla can develop various diseases that worsen the general condition of the pet and its appetite. Proper nutrition for a sick rodent is prescribed by a veterinarian, taking into account the disease itself and the characteristics of the body. During illness, the chinchilla must be constantly soldered with clean drinking water. If the rodent refuses to eat on its own, the owner can feed it with paste-like food using a pipette. Additionally, vitamin and mineral complexes can be introduced into the diet. Detailed appointments for nutrition for a sick rodent are issued by the attending veterinarian. In our store you can buy balanced and healthy food for home chinchillas. The assortment includes high-quality products from the world's best manufacturers. Also available cages, feeders, drinking bowls, and other items for a comfortable and healthy life of an exotic pet.